2, 1. Cheers, dude. It is good to meet you,
Good to meet you.
And like I was saying, I'm glad that we got... Fuck, that's so good. That doesn't not...
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Yeah, for everyone on... Well, actually, everybody, because this is the first episode, I think, that we're using... I finally found the decanter, and I spent a couple hours this past weekend cleaning it out really well, and tested it out Sunday night. I was like, yeah.
That's nice. Where'd you get that?
So that's my buddy's, actually. That's my roommate's. And because he would have that in our old house just in his bedroom, but he would never use it. And then since I'm a big whiskey guy, he is too, and a lot of the episodes that are on this podcast, we end up having a couple of drinks. I was like, hey, do you mind if I'll clean, because he had it all in a box. So I was like, do you mind if I just clean it all, and then we'll use it for the podcast? He's like, yeah. So we ended up we brought the that wardrobe that's out there. We brought that up, turned into a liquor cabinet.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah. Thank you for being able to do this.
Yeah.
All the rescheduling and everything. Very happy to sit down with you, man. Red light cameras. It's fucking awesome.
Thank you.
And ever since, I got a couple messages like, hey, you need to have Amanda on, you need to have Barney on, it was here and there. After the Amanda episode, it was when the fuck is Barney coming on from a ton of people in this city. Mm-hmm. So I'm very happy to meet you, man. How long have you been in, because you're at Red Light Cameras from the start, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So we started in 2010. Okay. I want to say there's some pre-Red Light Camera stuff that I was working on with Chris Walsh and another guy, Mike Meyer, and Kirsten Allard.
Aim that up right there. There you go. Yeah. Yeah,
and then we kind of had this band going at first, and we were all like, none of us can sing, and we need to get a singer who can really sing. And so I think I was doing a play with Amanda at the time. We were doing Bless Me Ultima at the Vortex Theater.
Oh wow!
Because we both do theater together, and
even to today.
We haven't done one in a while, but we've been talking about a maybe theater project for next year. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, but yeah. So I was like, well, I know this girl Amanda. She's a good singer. She's in Rent. She's doing the musical Rent, and so we saw her in Rent, and we're like, okay, let's have her come audition. And
let's go grab her before anybody else does.
Yeah. Well, she was actually playing with a group of older dudes in the East Mountains.
That's mentioned that to me. That's right. Yeah. Up in Tijeras, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
There at Molly's Bar and all those places. And so we were like, well, you can write your own music, just whatever we're not going to be a cover band. We didn't want to be a cover band. Oh, whoa, watch out. Trigger warning for the week. Yeah, we didn't want to be a cover band. We wanted to write original music, and that was kind of the thing then in the scene. And so we kind of were invited her to join the band, and it kind of was history from there.
That's kick-ass, man, because you guys are I've only been able to see you guys play, I think, twice, and you guys are just so fucking good. And all of you play your part so well. You're all energetic, electric. Is that something even if it's just being very focused on your instrument, you could tell that you're having fun, you're loving being up there. Is that something that always came to you? Because you mentioned you did theater, so have you always been that type of person that just wanted to be on stage, wanted to be outwardly expressive, or did that take some time to build that muscle?
I feel like it's kind of always been there. I when I was a kid, I did I think it was the 6th grade talent show, and I got to be the MC down at Los Lunas or intermediate school. I don't know what it was called. But yeah, I got to do that. And I just got the taste for performance and being on stage and entertaining, really. And
so I kind of just 6th grade.
Yeah.
You were 10, 11?
Yeah, probably 11, 12 years old. Yeah, yeah. They didn't even just give me a microphone. It's crazy. They let me write this script. I was like, I can put my own jokes and my own stuff in here. And they're like, yeah, just you gotta work with this teacher. He's got to approve it or whatever. And so it was me and 2 other kids, and I was just writing jokes and writing stuff for the thing. And it was and once I got that taste, I was like, I want to be an entertainer. I want to do this kind of stuff. It was
is that something you immediately went and told your family? Hey, I really love whatever that just was. I love doing it.
Yeah, totally.
How did they feel about that when you got to the point where hey, I want to, even as a little kid, you're hey, I really want to do this. A lot of families, if they have a little kid with a lot of aspirations that are so clearly the creative types, you know, they get told that like, oh shit, little Johnny's not gonna have a future. He doesn't want to go to college.
Well, yeah, they were pretty supportive of me. Like for the most part, they were like, well, it also helped that I was like good at school. So like my grades were all like fine. I didn't have trouble with like school. So I was able to just do all this other stuff. And I was like really ambitious in growing up. I did like a lot of, like while I was in high school, I was writing for the school newspaper. I like sang in the choir. I did the theater program. I did like the morning announcements on the news. And so like I was just kind of very like active, almost overactive, just kind of filling every spare like time I could do. I was doing the like lights. I used to do lights for the like junior miss pageants and stuff there because everyone used Los Lunas as like auditorium to do like Valencia County events basically. So I was like in events kind of like in a similar realm of what I'm still doing today.
Those child pageants are so fucking weird, dude. Like when you really break those down.
Yeah, they're hilarious though. They're fucking great.
They're hilarious. But then what cracks me up, and then what kind of borderline worries me about that whole environment are the moms.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's so clear. Like I'm sure there are exceptions, but it's so clearly these middle-aged women that peaked in high school and never got to be the prom queen, or they never got to live like their modeling dreams or their acting dreams. So now they've got little Susie in a tutu, and they're like, you're going to go out there and you're going to love it. And it just, I mean, they made fucking reality TV out of this shit.
Yeah. It's very entertaining too.
I'm fairly certain.
I think it's because, you know, white girls don't get to have quinceañeras. So they're like, what can we do?
I might steal that. That's funny. Well,
I'm proud to announce that the podcast is now officially sponsored by the fine people over at Chop Chili Company. Guys, this is some of the best chili you can get here in the state of New Mexico, and they are online as well as in stores. They can be found at Smith's, Albertsons, Sprouts, John Brooks, and Lowe's Corner Market. They have 3 amazing flavors that you see here, and they also have frozen green chili that you can get online. Go on over to the website, chopchilico.com, and get yourself some amazing chili today. Podcast is now officially sponsored by the amazing people over at High Desert Relief, a premier herbal destination right here in the state of New Mexico. They have extremely well-trained and knowledgeable staff that are more than happy to help you find what you're looking for or try something that you maybe have never thought of. They have 2 locations here in Albuquerque, 1 in Santa Fe. All 3 will be listed right here and in the description of this episode. All 3 offering legendary products at absolutely legendary prices, including this awesome merch that they were so kind enough to gift me here. All of this can be found at all 3 of their locations. Again, big thank you to the guys over at HDR for supporting. Now back to the episode.
Because I'm fairly certain, I know nothing, like I don't know this for a fact, but if I had to put money on it, I would be willing to bet that out of all the reality TV shows, the pageant mom one, whatever the fuck that's called, I know there's like dance moms, but whatever one, I don't know if it's still on, I know there used to be one about the pageant moms, that one isn't scripted. They do not write a script for that. They just kind of show up to the nonsense and just set up the cameras and just let them run wild. Bunch of fucking psychos.
I bet they do. They do for a lot. I love. I'm like, I've gotten into reality TV over the pandemic. Basically, got me into reality TV. So I watch like Vanderpump Rules. I watch Below Decks. I've watched a little bit of like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Like that, it's fascinating. It's like coming from like a theater background and all of that. It's just very like
performative.
It's so performative, and it's so very like, oh, this is the kind of stuff that Shakespeare would have been doing. You know, like real life, real people living their lives and like experiencing the heartache. I don't know if you know about the Scandival that happened this year.
No.
Oh man, there's like a couple that was in Vanderpump Rules. One of them cheated on the other one.
So
it was
are
like
these
huge
all
news.
like affluent people though?
No, well that's why I like the Vanderpump Rules one really a lot, because the Vanderpump Rules starts out and they're like working at Lisa Vanderpump. So Lisa Vanderpump is one of the Real Housewives. She's like a rich Beverly Hills woman who like runs several really nice restaurants in Beverly Hills, right? Like, and so the Vanderpump Rules show follows her staff at the restaurant, and they're like bartenders and like wannabe actors and models on the side, and they're like, you know, they're like real people, like they're not big yet, and the show's been on for like 10 years, and so you watch these people for like 5 months out of the year. Cameras follow them around in their lives, and you watch their lives just do everything that people in their 20s lives do, you know, like it's a 20-something reality show of like they cheat on each other. They get a woman pregnant in Vegas. They like there's all kinds of like crazy shit that happens, and it's so entertaining. And like in the heat of the pandemic, when I was like missing like the social scene and all of that, I was like, I'll just turn on Vanderpump Rules and it'll be like my life is like, I'll live through this vicariously. It'll be great.
It's like I'm back at Launchpad.
Yeah, exactly. It's wonderful.
That's fun. I would like to believe that there's a head producer on those shows that shows up at the beginning of every season of shooting it with a checklist. If hey, you gotta go to Vegas and you gotta get a chick pregnant. You gotta go to Wisconsin and kidnap a midget. You gotta like, you know what I mean? Like there's just this checklist of debauchery that they have to go through.
Yeah, I mean the producers do push them. I'm sure.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
that's like the like way the shows work. But,
for sure.
But like it's entertaining. It's very entertaining.
I'm fairly certain. Maybe the reason I'm so critical of it is because I watched Chappelle's Show way too early. Mm-hmm. And you ever seen that episode of Chappelle's Show where they do the Real World or the Mad Real World?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that ruined reality TV for me because that was so fucking hilarious that I don't think I could ever see an episode of reality TV that can step up to Chappelle's Show's writing.
Yeah,
holy shit!
I mean,
they're all like they kill his dad, the white dude's dad. They like fuck his girlfriend. That he's the only one working at the smoothie shop and he gets fired. And this dude's just like on this steady decline of just hilarious I fucking love Chappelle's Show. Oh my god, that's funny shit. But okay, so red light cameras, 14 years. When was that your first like major musical endeavor?
I had a band in high school that was like, I don't know, we might have played a dozen shows, you know, which in high school it like feels like
it feels great.
Like, oh my god, we're epic. We made it. You know,
were they like little DIY shows.
Oh yeah, they were like I grew up in this double wide trailer and in Los Lunas, and next door to the double wide trailer in Los Lunas was a single wide trailer, and we called that the Shiz House. And at some point when I was a kid, my parents like rented it, but then it fell into like disrepair, and it's like a really old fucking trailer, and so it became like the hangout spot.
Yeah.
And I would do band practices there, and then we would start throwing shows there and all of that. And so we'd have like shows there at the Shiz House, and then we would like go play at some like house party in Tomei or down in Berlin at some garage, or like just kind of hopping around playing wherever we could, you know, and we're at like 16, 17, 18, like, yeah, that band was called 1, 2, 3, Not It, and we were very punk rock.
That's a great name.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, Not It. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, we were like, well, Blink 182 is already taken, you know, like so.
That was our idea first.
Damn it!
We're born in
those goddamn time travelers.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'd imagine like because I was very, very introverted, really up until the pandemic. But, like, especially so in high school. Like, I had my group of friends, I had my video games, and I had my comic books. That's all I wanted in life. That's all I needed in life. But if you're, like, the artistic, expressive type, and you've got first of all, you have a band. That's already a big feat. Maybe if you don't realize it at the time. For a high schooler, getting other, you know, young, dumb high schoolers together to create something, that's insane. Then you're actually going around doing venues. You're like, I think we're like doing the thing. I think this is what all of our heroes did when they were our age, and that's gotta be pretty exhilarating. I'd imagine at that age.
It was a lot of, I don't know. It was fun. It just like, it felt like, oh, this is we're being appreciated, because like outside of there, I was like a nerd and not like cool, more of like the like hung out with the outcast kind of crowd and like the theater kids.
Yeah.
You know, like
what was your instrument back then?
I've played bass pretty much the whole time. So when I started playing, I played in like a metal band. For my first band was like we basically just like were a Black Sabbath cover band, and then we tried to like write our own metal songs as well. And but I played bass because like that's the instrument that was at my grandparents' house. Okay. So it was my Uncle Sammy's like bass from when he was in high school and played. And I was like, well, I can get a bass, so I guess I'm a bass player. and then I've just played that ever since. I play other things now too, but
yeah. Okay, so then you going through your high school stage. When does red light cameras start to form? When does that become a thing in your life?
I think it was like at the end of college. Okay. Like around when I was graduating from college. So I went to UNM and got a degree in theater over there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And did like directing and acting and playwriting and like theater education and kind of the whole gamut. I've always like had this like desire to want to learn like a lot of aspects of a certain thing in order to like kind of educate the whole in a way. And so I like approached theater and learning that way. And then like started my Chris Walsh came back from college. He had gone off to like Boston for college when we were friends in high school and had played together in bands. And like, so when he had come back, he was like, "Oh, dude, what's up? I want to like, let's get a band together again." And we started playing again, and then like got into that. And I think that like as soon as we like played a couple like gigs. But like as soon as we got Amanda in the band and like started writing like songs with her and like things just started clicking, and we changed our name. And then when we changed our name from it used to be called Blvd, which is Devil Love backwards.
Oh, okay.
It's really stupid. It's but like when we changed the name, then like things started getting better, and we started getting gigs, and things started clicking pretty quickly.
Started scaling a lot faster.
Yeah, definitely.
So since you went to college in theater and you were interested, what got you into directing? Because that's what I originally went to college. Well, no, my associates is in criminal justice. That's what I wanted to do at the time. But tried to go to UNM a couple of times. And then post pandemic, my recent attempt at UNM, I was going for film school. Mm-hmm. Primarily to get into directing. What drew you to that?
I don't know. I think probably I'm a control freak a little bit. That's like part of it. I think I had an acting teacher who's later my directing teacher as well, who Denise Schultz at UNM, and she saw me in class. I remember one day she was like, "You're thinking too much," because when you're like an actor, you're supposed to like be present and be in the scene and like just like commit to your character and be the person that's there and respond just there, right? And she would look at me and go like, "You're not here. You're thinking about the blocking, and you're thinking about what everyone else's lines are, and you're thinking about what the lights are doing and what the stage looks like and like where you're at on the light." And she was like, "You're not an actor. You're a director."
What? Again, I know nothing about acting, but acknowledging all of that, wouldn't that be conducive to being a better actor?
You would think, but I don't think it does. I think that like the best actor is like a blank slate, right? And they completely take on not necessarily in the like crazy like method actor, like I'm gonna fight people on set because I'm in character, but like somebody who, when they are acting, can completely become a vessel for the character.
So I agree, but being able to be aware of like where the scene is going, what the other lines are, how the other actors in the scene are playing off, the set design, what's happening with the production, what the lighting is like not that you have to be so aware of it that you're like playing some kind of secondhand part of like making sure it's running properly. That's not your job. But I would just imagine that if you're in front of the camera, you should have a pretty generous idea of what's going on around you, so that you know how to fit. Because you could be You could be an extra in the background, or you could be fucking Leonardo DiCaprio. But you're at the end of the day, you're just a piece in that whole puzzle that is going to end up being that film. I would imagine that it would be conducive to, again, just be generously aware of what's going on around you.
I think so. But I think with it, like, you can be aware of that, but when you're actually in it, I think there's this like state of like being a hollow reed, where like those things, the knowledge exists, but you're not thinking about that knowledge when you're in the role and when
So
you're.
she felt you're using like too much brain, like too much energy, too much brain space is being focused on that rather than being focused on what your job is.
Yeah, and I could see that where like you can see actors that are thinking too much, as opposed to just being the character and just being in the moment.
Is acting? Because you said a little bit earlier that you're thinking about doing theater again with Amanda. Is how do I word this? Like, is acting something that you would like consider like pursuing no matter what? Like, it's a mainstay, it's a part of your life. And we can even broaden that out to theater and just making, not necessarily making films, but just making producing that type of medium, right? That type of digestible art, along with the music. Would that just always be something that you're interested, whether it's from the writing standpoint, production standpoint?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I feel like theater is part of my like life. You know, it's like a lifestyle. It's my religion in a way. You know, like I don't have a religion, but like theater might be the closest thing I have to religion is theater, and it's like I'm always like going to be inclined to like make art. Even like I found it really like eye opening that when the pandemic happened and everything fucking like just like shut down and stopped and all of that I was still like immediately inspired to be like, well, I'm going to make some sketch comedy and put it on the internet then. You know, like
your Berlin Six Flags thing was so fucking
dude, thank you. Yeah.
Like there's a line where it's yeah, we'll put you on the swings and you'll go around it. You'll go all high or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that was fucking funny. Or the we'll put you in the garbage can and push you down the hill.
Yeah,
I thought that shit was fucking funny.
I can't like, I feel like I'm always going to be doing something. You know, I can't sit still. I can't just like not be working on like some kind of project or like, yeah, like even right now, I'm writing a melodrama right now. Like in the background of all the other things that I'm doing, I'm like trying to like, I've got like a draft due by Wednesday that I'm just like trying to like cram in and like continue to make art because it's like, I mean, and it's not even like a like, oh man, I'm gonna make some like great art and I'm gonna become famous and everyone's gonna know me, you know, like it's just, I don't know, just a desire to create
something you love doing.
Yeah,
yeah, it's your genuine passion, like what
art is expression, right? And like that's and you know, people do art for all kinds of reasons, and I think that sometimes doing art for your own like personal gratification and like is just as honorable and noble as like, you know, doing it to try and make a bunch of money and get paid and all that.
Well, and I think with most things in life, if you go into it with the sole purpose of like financial gain, you're probably not going to love it. Mm-hmm. Even if it's something you would have loved otherwise, if you went from it of a mindset of, hey, I really love this, I want to nurture this in my own life, even if you're not great at it. If you're like that's, to be quite honest, that's how I'm feeling right now about stand-up. Mm-hmm. I know I'm not great, but I love doing it. And I know that it's something that I can get better at, and it's going to take years to just chisel at that marble, keep breaking it down, sculpting it into what it might potentially be, all that kind of stuff. But if I went into fucking stand-up, I think if anybody goes into stand-up thinking, you know, I'm going to make money now, I'm Bill Burr tomorrow, that's...
Yeah, no, it's
you
just...
You are going to hate it. You are going to hate everyone doing it. It's going to just become like a poison in your brain. And I feel like that's true of any art form. Like, like filmmaking. If you make your own short film, you're not going to be like, what was his fucking name? The guy who directed the two Shazams, and he directed Annabelle, I think Annabelle Creation. But his big one was Lights Out.
Okay.
That horror movie from like 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
Because that originally started as a short film.
Yeah.
And then they pulled that out, gave him a ton of money. God, it's going to kill me. It's David something, I think.
Schwimmer. It was David Schwimmer.
From Friends, yeah. But, you know, if I'm sure that if people see that, like, oh, I'm just going to make my short film. I'm going to put it on YouTube, and I'm going to get a studio deal. Like, go on YouTube and look up horror short film and just see the thousands and thousands of submissions of people that may or may not have the same idea as you, and you're going to find that that's not the best way to go about things. Whereas if you've just been like, hey, I want to learn filmmaking, let's see what happens, you'll probably end up loving it more that way than you do with money in general. Do you find that as your brain is bouncing around from these different creative processes, whether it's, okay, I'm writing a melodrama, okay, now I'm writing music for the red lights, or I'm thinking about, well, what could the next theater production be? Do you find that they all serve each other in one way or another? Whereas like, you might be writing a melodrama, you're writing a screenplay, and you're like, oh, well, that might not be great here, but that could be a really good song lyric, or that could be like a good bridge, or this could be like a good part of a chorus. And then when let's say you're thinking about a theater setup, like a production, like, oh, well, that could work here, and I bet that'd be really cool to have a setup for like a live show with the red lights. Do you find a lot of that could be synergetic?
I think I have. Yeah, in the past I have. Like, for sure. There's like a lot of stuff from the like theater world that transitions over to the music world that is just like completely like when I'm like, I think about like our live shows with red light cameras as like theatrical performances, which is just
they
like
definitely translate that way.
I mean, it's what people are going to there to see, is like see people perform and see people express themselves on stage. And so it's like the same thing in my head. And so like they inform each other a lot, but they also like, unfortunately they compete a lot because it's very much like, time is a resource, and like the amount of time you can put into one thing means you can't be putting it into another thing. And then there's, life itself too, the paying the bills and taking care of family and all of that stuff that you also have to like factor into the equation, So
How early on did it become obvious to you that time management was going to be a staple of your life? Like, you have to figure out how to manage your days properly, how to manage your hours properly. When did that become obvious to you?
In high school, I think, like, because I was doing so many like extracurricular activities while I was there that I was really having to like factor out like, oh, well, we've got 2 months of rehearsal for this thing we're doing here, but I'm also trying to like figure out what day of the week I can meet up with the band to practice, and then I've also got to like. We've got a newspaper deadline at the end of every month, so I've got to like stay up until 1 o'clock in the morning writing articles for the newspaper and shit. So it's like right away I was figuring out how to like space things out and put things in order. And
well, that's good, because a lot of people don't learn that until way later in life. And they're like, oh shit, I'm just getting like, it's overcoming, right? It's overwhelming. Overwhelming trying to overcome. That's what I was trying to say. All of like these tasks that I may or may not have put onto myself, because you're right, there's things you're electing to do, like all your artistic ventures, but then you're right, bills, family, your 9-to-5 job, which you have a very unique one, if I want to go into later. But I mean, being able to realize that at an early age and then nurture that as you grow up, I mean, I'm sure you could speak to this about as much as anybody else. That's a very invaluable skill.
Oh yeah,
because it's like you're trying to float. Without that, you're trying to float in the ocean without a life raft.
Oh yeah, we're all just like time lords, right? Like that's really what we are. We're just like, I mean, we're on this like ride going on this continuum of time, and the events are going to hit us when they hit us. It's just putting yourself in the right place when those events come.
Was it? No, I feel like there definitely was. When did it hit you that with the formation of Red Lights as it is? When did it hit you that it was like, oh, like, we've got something. Amanda's here. We're making great music. We're doing all these things. When did it really sink in that, hey, this could be like a real thing?
I want to say the first time we went to South by Southwest. I think that was like, I want to say it was like 2011 or 2012. And we just like, we knew it was a thing. like South by Southwest is a big music festival, music, art, film festival that happens, tech festival that happens in Austin, Texas, and March right there at like where spring break is, like right around St. Patrick's Day, basically. And we were like, let's go. Let's just fucking do it. Let's go to South by Southwest. And I think we like submitted, and you can like submit to be a real artist and get like an official artist badge and all of that stuff. But of course we didn't get like selected because, you know, we're just like some small band from Albuquerque, New Mexico. But we found out that like there's all these other side festivals and unofficial events that are going on and showcases and stuff like that. And so we just started like reaching out to people on the internet and finding like, I found like a gig on Craigslist.
That's awesome.
Because like I read somewhere that like sometimes these venues, because in Austin, like every place in Austin has live music going on during South by Southwest, like up and down 6th Street. It can be like a bookstore. It can be a fucking like Pro Bass shop or whatever. You know, the Whole Foods had concerts on the top of the Whole Foods.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like it's a ton of fun. I definitely like suggest every musician go to South by Southwest at some point, whether to play or just be there and experience it, because it's a ton of fun. Even though it's a mess and even though it's overrated and even though it's like nobody gets big there anymore and blah, 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 all the bullshit that everyone likes to talk about South by Southwest, it's still worth it to go and worth it to do it and experience that. But like we went and we played a feminist bookstore, and we played this like weird bar on 6th Street where like at the end of our gig, we went up to the promoter guy and we're like, hey, we're just wanted to check in about payment for the show. And he goes, what? You don't get paid. I get paid. I get paid here. You don't get paid. We were like, okay, cool. We're going to leave then. It's just like split. Because it was fine, whatever. We like already were going out there. We had a place to stay. Chris had some family in town, which was like awesome because it's difficult to get a place to stay during South by. So like we were able to like go and experience it, play a couple gigs, tour around Texas, play like fucking Dallas and El Paso, San Antonio, just like work our way out there and do a little Texas tour and experience it all. And I feel like when we did that, it really was like, oh, this is a thing. This is really fun. And it's really like doable and people enjoy it even outside of home. Because I feel like when you're playing locally as like a local band, for a while you like all your friends are coming to see your show, right? And then like as time goes on, your friends are like, they've got lives, you know, they're not going to come to your shows anymore. And that's totally fine. But you have to like transition to a place where you have fans and you're like picking up people who like you, who like the music and are there for the music. Right. And when you go on tour, you don't know anybody in these towns. You've got no idea who the hell these people are. You don't mean anything to them. And if you can still like win their approval there, it feels like special, right? You know?
Well, I forget who I was having this conversation with, but human interests aren't that unique, right? Like people generally love within a genre of entertainment. There are inside of every genre there are just major pockets of things, and so if there are people here in Albuquerque that love your stuff, there are definitely people in Dallas and El Paso and Austin and California, Arizona, everywhere. So being able to find those people, like, oh yeah, like I'd imagine as an artist, it's like really good validation. It's like, oh no, this is better, or like what we're doing, it's earning, like you said, earning the approval, but it's like it's entertaining to people more than just our own friends, more than just people that we get for local name recognition. Like this could really, like if we can find a way to make this reach other audiences, this can stick. And it seems like it has.
Yeah.
Was there a period after you guys got done doing that when you get back to Albuquerque? Was there like a big learning curve after that, a bit like recalibration? It was like, okay, we've experienced this. What do we take from it, and how do we apply it to the future?
Oh, absolutely. And also you see like we saw so many cool bands while we were out there, you know, that were like just so fucking good, like top notch bands from like all over the world coming down to Austin, and you just see them and you leave and you're like, inspired to like get back home and be like, all right, remember that song that this band was playing and how it's just like in your face and like they had that like stop and it like held everyone's attention, and how can we create that moment? How can we like try to do that? How can we bring that to our live shows and to our like writing process?
See that, and that's why you guys are as popular as you are, and how why you're continue to go far, is because that's the mindset you need. When to see people that may or may not even be like bigger named, but just they are doing something that you wish you could be doing, and looking at it with a positive, like, oh no, like that's really cool. Let's get inspired by that, and we can now make something cool. Whereas I feel like a lot of people will look at stuff and be like, why the fuck? Why do people like this so much? Mm-hmm. Or like, why do they get this? Or how did they end up doing that? Like, that's bullshit. And you kind of just writing it off, talking down to it. And then just, or even if you start, like, I know that this is a thing, both on a smaller scale and on a bigger scale, past just like local New Mexico, but working with other people at your level and then being like, oh, well, there's not enough shows around here for all of us, so we're going to do everything we can to cut people down and just to, to undercut people and under whatever. It's like, no, this is having that like feast mentality. Like, there's enough for everybody. There's enough, whether it's shows, there's enough money, there's enough fans, there's it's just enough talent. Like, it's so weird. Like, I've seen this like in person and then like secondhand through interviews. Like, I've seen people that have an arguable talent. Like, they're good at whatever it is they do, whether it's music, comedy, acting, whatever. And they think like talent is limited. And it's like, there's only so much talent out there that people can grab onto. It's like, no, dude, like, just because someone gets more successful or just because someone can do something you can't, you giving them praise does not bring you down. Mm-hmm. Right? It doesn't mean you're lesser. It doesn't mean you don't have that ability. It's just they're doing something really dope right now, and it's easy, it tends to be easier to support people. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've always like believe in that like rising tides raise all boats idiom. It's true. It's the more, it's like I always thought about it like in the 90s, like Nirvana took off, right? And then all of a sudden all these other bands from Seattle and Portland all started to take off as well, because there was like one flagship band that kind of like was the darling of it and of the scene or whatever. Right. And like got all the support. It was able to lift up a whole music scene to get everyone's attention. Like, now people know about the Screaming Trees and they know about the Melvins, and like, there's all these like tertiary like bands who were there before, who inspired bands like Nirvana, who inspired bands like the Foo Fighters and all that. But I feel like I want that to be possible for Albuquerque too,
We're there. I think we're not there. We're getting there.
Yeah, there's so many good bands in this town that it's like I want all of them to succeed, and whoever gets there first, hell yeah, that's great. Like, because there's a really special music scene that's here in Albuquerque. There's a lot of like really talented people, really talented songwriters, really talented performers that deserve the attention of what people get in Phoenix, or like what people like. Phoenix is great. I'm not trashing Phoenix, all right, but like,
no, but they're just like places like Phoenix, Denver, Austin. They're like Albuquerque, just 10 years ahead.
Yeah,
and I don't know what it is. I've talked to a lot of people about it, both on and off the podcast. It's just, there's this untangible like thing that keeps Albuquerque 5 to 10 years behind. Even just New Mexico.
Well, I don't know that I'm not saying it's bad though.
It's not a bad thing,
because
but I feel like we should be further along than we are. Mm-hmm. And the best answers that I have for it, or that I've been told about it, always end up in the responsibility always ends up with the politics, mm-hmm. right? With whoever's in charge of, whether it's the city or whoever's in charge of the state, it always kind of ends up there. Like, a great example of that is just the way our liquor laws are set up. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I'm very, very thankful. I told her this. I was very, very thankful for all of Sarah's time on the podcast and the fact that she took like, I think 20 or 25 minutes out of our 3-hour conversation to talk about why they don't have a liquor license at Dry Heat. Mm-hmm. And it just blows my fucking mind. It's like, well, if they just change the laws around it, that helps more small business, that helps more small entertainment, and it rises up like that.
Yeah.
And I think it's just examples like that that could be holding things back. Because you're right, we have so many talented fucking people here, and post-COVID, there's just been this not weird, but there's been this renaissance of just entertainment. I would say because film's been here for a while, and it's going to continue to grow and expand, especially with the film university they're making out of the rail yards. But I mean, I would say mainly in music and comedy, just so many people are starting it, so many people are getting into it, and just so many successful people are coming out of the pandemic. Like Cy Montero, the Slums of Harvard, all these guys that are doing really, really well. And I think having something like the Bands of Enchantment, because you guys were on the last season of it, right?
Yeah, on season 2.
Right. I think something like that's not only getting televised on PBS, but you can find it on Amazon and stuff like Tubi. Like, that's giving just more and more exposure to Albuquerque that we desperately need.
Yeah. And
then you have a very unique perspective on it because you work at Launchpad. With as much as you would like to talk about that, how did you find yourself working at Launchpad and then working at Launchpad in the capacity that you do?
It was kind of like, when I was in high school, right, I was like booking these shows at the Shiz House, and that was like my first like taste in like kind of putting lineups together and making a flyer and putting the flyer around the high school and stuff like that, and like trying to get people to show up for a show, right? And then while I was in college, I worked with a group of people, and we formed a theater company called Blackout Theater Company. And we just basically started by doing like sketch comedy, Saturday Night Live, kind of like late night stuff following the like UNM performances over there. And then we eventually got into like producing theater, producing a big haunted house that we did for like several years, films, and all kinds of like different things. And so I had all this experience in producing, and I was like, well, I was done with college and all that, and I needed to like figure out where I was going next. Like, where can I do art for a living?
And what year is this?
This is like 2013.
Okay.
Right. So I'd graduated undergrad in 2009, and then I went back into college again and did my I got a master's degree in playwriting.
Damn.
I know, it's dumb. I should have done it.
Good for you. I mean, look, financial decisions are yours. And
Yeah.
And I'm not going to judge. I make very great financial decisions in my life, and I make very poor ones. So I'm not here to judge that. But I'm just saying, you loved this art so much that you continued schooling for it. Mm-hmm. I'm more impressed by that than anything else about that story, because I fucking hate school so much.
Yeah.
But I get what it's like to a very small degree. I get because I love going to film school. And the only reason I'm not in film school anymore was because the Army decided to cut the funding. And I was like, okay, well, I was already going to get out of the Army. Now I'm definitely getting out of the Army, because I can just, once I wipe up my debt you guys set me up in, I can just continue to go to school tuition free through the state. Yeah. So fuck off.
Yeah.
But after that, like, I was like, okay. The only reason I'm not in school right now is because the Army cut the funding. But I loved going to school when it was just like the shit I cared about.
Yeah.
It was my undergrad stuff where I was like, I'm sure that this very obscure history class that I need for my credit is awesome to someone who cares, but I just really, really don't. And it's like stuff like that, and then math, and math has never been my thing. And like, I sat down today with a fucking wealth management guy, and I was like, oh my God, thank God you know what you're doing. I told him this. I was like, I'm absorbing 70% of what you're offering me right now. But anyway, my point is like, I love going to school for shit that I enjoyed. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed. So that's what I'm impressed by, is that you continued going and you continued finding enjoyment, really dissecting and just studying, very deeply studying something that you loved. Because I feel like with a lot of people too, if there's a thing in life that you enjoy and you get too deep into it, it's like, what's the saying? Never go to the kitchen of your favorite restaurant. Mm-hmm. Right? It's something like that. It's like, oh, you get exposed too much of the thing you love.
Yeah, you see behind the curtain, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah, maybe not.
But that's the thing about directing, is that like when you're in directing, once you become a director and you see behind the curtain and you think your brain goes into that director mindset, like you can't go back to theater. You go watch theater and you're just like, or you watch movies and TV and you're just like analyzing the whole thing the whole time. Right. Like as a playwright, I've done like a bunch of playwriting courses, and so I'll sit there and I'll watch like some dumb TV show and be like, the writing in this is terrible. Like, what? Who wrote this? And then, like, me and my wife will, like, pull up iTunes and look up the writers for the episodes. I'm like, who wrote this fucking Simpsons episode? This one sucks. I'm like, oh, I see. They wrote the other shitty ones, too.
Well, I mean, that's the funny thing right now with, like, movies like Madam Web. Where it's like,
oh my god, I just watched it.
Is it as bad as people say it is?
It's fun. It's fun. I'd say go watch it. I say go fucking watch Madam Web. This is my endorsement.
Oh boy,
it was like, you know what? Marvel sucks. Like, like that's not what you're going to Marvel for. Like, I've never like understood the idea that like Marvel films are great films. I'm like, no, they're comic books, guys.
Okay, they're comic book films, but Marvel. Well, what's important to note is, and I guess there's some, like, I've heard whispers of it online. I guess there's some legal issues going on because maybe it was just Sydney Sweeney or maybe all three of the main actresses or four of them. I guess someone in their team or maybe the actresses directly got told that, hey, if you go do Madam Web, you'll be a part of the bigger MCU. When I think even general audiences know that, like, there's the Sony villain movies that are god awful, and you've got the MCU that's on like a steady decline. Mm-hmm. But I looked at that cast, like, how the fuck did they get these? Like, because Sydney Sweeney is arguably the most in demand actress right now.
Well, I think half of them fired their agent after the film because it was the agent got them in that, and I think informed them that they were going to be part of the MCU. Which
back to my point, right? About so. You're right, and that's it. And if you haven't already noticed, I'm a big comic book guy. That is a criticism that I bring up when comic book movies do flop like that. I'm like, well, because we're in a period, we're coming out of it, but there was a big period of time, especially between like 2015 and 2019, where Marvel was just putting out banger after banger after banger. And so everyone just thought that the superhero medium was this untouchable, invincible, no pun intended, but like invincible art form or like genre.
Well, they thought wrong.
Right. I mean. Well, my whole thing is like, yo, read 80% of the shit from the 90s. Mm-hmm. Most of it is bad. Mm-hmm. Like, the only superheroes that really survived in the 90s and did well in the 90s were Batman and Superman. Batman and Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Because that's where all the big writers got allocated to, because all these comic book companies were just going out of business. And so, like, if you want some really bad fucking comics, look into the 90s. And I think that's where we are right now with these superhero films. They're going through their 90s right now. We had the with the bronze, silver, and golden age of comic movies. That was 2009 to 2019. And right now, we are just in 1993. Nobody can draw feet properly.
You know what, though?
Proportions are off.
I don't think it's their fault. I think that the zeitgeist of American culture has changed. I don't think that the movies have changed so much as I think that the audiences have changed, and they're not looking for that so much anymore. And it just feels weird. It's like when you go back and watch like a movie from the 2010s, right? Like what did I watch? I can't. Oh, I was watching Dodgeball the other day.
Fuck yeah.
Right? And it's like some of it still works, but some of it is just kind of like dated comedy where it feels like you're listening to like a Backstreet Boys song where you're like, oh yeah, at one time this was the hottest shit in the whole country.
But then you also have comedies like Step Brothers and Talladega Nights and Wedding Crashers, where those are never going to get old. If you can even go back to like the 70s and the 80s and you look at something like Spaceballs or Uncle Buck, or I'm a big fan of, like, you ever see Meatballs with Bill Murray about the summer camp? That one's fucking hilarious. Or like Stripes. Right? Those definitely have dated comedy in them, but those movies are never going to age because of how well written they are. And I would disagree about the audiences wanting something different because of the huge backlash against, like, the MCU proper, right? Like, most of those TV shows flopped because people don't like them, and they're not particularly well written. But
I thought WandaVision was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
I thought WandaVision was great until the whole Quicksilver switcheroo.
Oh, the end. Yeah, they didn't stick the landing.
The landing wasn't great.
Hey, people can't stick landings all the time. That's why gymnasts get medals for it, man. Yeah. Like,
that's good. That's pretty good. But I agree. I miss the days, the first like 4 to 5 weeks of WandaVision, where there was just so much mystery and like, what are we doing? What is this? Oh my god! And then again, they didn't stick to landing. You're completely right. But like, Marvel set such a high bar with those movies, like Captain America Winter. It's off the top of my head. Captain America Winter Soldier. The first Iron Man was fucking amazing. I love. Not a lot of people loved it, but I loved Avengers: Age of Ultron. Infinity War, I think, is one of the best comic movies ever made because of how well written and how seamless they bring together all of those different storylines, and and the fact that there were these like 19 plus movies that were all cohesive and they all worked like together at least, right? You had your Thor 2s and you had stuff like
wait, is that Ragnarok? Which one's the Ragnarok
Dark
one?
World.
Oh, okay,
Dark
all right.
World.
Yeah, Ragnarok was good.
I liked Ragnarok.
Yeah.
But it all worked. It was all together in this thing, and then to see that kind of fall apart with rare exception of like the Spider-Man No Way Home with like Toby and Andrew, that was fucking sick.
Mm-hmm.
Loki was pretty good. The TV show, I didn't mind Falcon and Winter Soldier all that much. I didn't mind Hawkeye, but like, I think what's happening right now is they got spread way too thin. And I think the big part of it was management because Bob Iger, the head of Disney, stepped down. New guy, Bob Chapek, I think his name, came in. And his thing's like, we're gonna have, if there's not a movie in theaters, it's a TV show on Disney, and it became quantity, not quality, right? So I mean, I hate to sound like a pessimist, but if they don't stick to landing with this whole Deadpool 3, I mean, if they fuck up, not only...
they already fucked up. They waited too long, man. They should have made Deadpool 3 should have been out like 2-3 years ago.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. Like, I forgot Deadpool 2 even happened. It's been so fucking long.
You're not the only person to tell me that. You are not the only person. Huh. Well, if they fuck it up, and it's shocking to me after the fact that... Spider-Man No Way Home made like 1.4 or 1.5 billion or whatever. It's shocking to me they didn't fast track Spider-Man 4. Mm-hmm. That they're just like, we need to get this out now. But yeah, if they fuck up Deadpool 3, I think that whole ship's kind of tanked. Like, and I'm a big DC guy. I could care less about the new DC stuff, like Superman Legacy. I want it to do good, like, or do well. I would like to know that we can still make a good Superman movie, but a good Superman movie hasn't come out. I mean, I love Man of Steel, but with the exception of Man of Steel, a true solo good Superman movie hasn't come out since Superman 2, but like the Richard Donner version of Superman 2. I don't know. It does, but back to your original point about like picking out these writers, right? The same guys who did Madam Web are the guys that did like Morbius, Venom 1, Venom 2, and they have this track record of being shitty. And so I do the same thing. It's funny if you're watching something that's horribly written, these guys just keep getting hired.
Yeah.
And I have no idea why.
Well, nepotism, man.
Maybe.
It's like they know somebody, like somebody's got their back.
I always theorize there's maybe a price point. You know what I mean? Because if you look at, I think Madam Web only costs like $60 million to make, or something, which is relatively low for.
Hey, I'll write them a better script for cheaper money. You fucking right? Just give me $10,000. I'll fucking do it right here. Boom.
No, for real. It's just okay. Tell me if this was in the movie. I saw a meme where it was about Dakota Johnson, and I guess there's a scene in the movie where she has a vision of a bird hitting a window. And then she's like, oh, wait a minute. And she opens a window and the bird flies in. And, and then she goes, she didn't have to die. Is that in the movie?
No, not that she didn't have to die. She doesn't say that.
Oh, okay.
But like, there's so much ADR in that fucking movie that
really?
The ADR in it is the most insane thing. Because the like main villain, I guess his accent was too thick in all of the like wide shot stuff or all the close up shots. And so they went back. And you, like, never see him speak. It's always like his face is turned away and he's like, oh, I wish I would kill you. These girls are going to kill me now. But, like, it's all ADR and it's really poorly done ADR. Like, it's very obvious that they're doing it.
Even if they had, let's just say, standard, like industry standard, decent, good ADR, for people listening to know what the fuck we're talking about, additional dialogue recording, which is basically if they're shooting the film and the audio they record is not up to standard, they go back into a recording booth and re-record their audio. I would imagine that even if you have good ADR, but you don't have any shots of your villain speaking, or the character just speaking normally.
Yeah, it's an important character. This is like your villain is your second most important character in your superhero film, and you never see him speak with his mouth. Like they do all these like weird like editing like stroby flashy scenes like while he's having his visions or whatever, and the fucking like las arañas, the fucking spider people scenes are just like ridiculous. It felt like a cult movie, like a weird ass
like a B movie.
Yeah, a B movie. It felt like Evil Dead, right? These scenes of las arañas running through the forest.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's so dumb. Oh man,
but Evil Dead is glorious.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm saying go see Madam Web, because like just have a couple drinks before you see it, and like smoke a bowl and just chill out. And that's how I did, and it was pretty enjoyable.
So you were okay, that's fair. That's funny. So anyway, so Launchpad, you are you getting out of college, you're trying to figure out what to do next, and do you immediately get a job at Launchpad, or where do you, this is around 2013?
Yeah, it's like 2013, 2014. So I knew that I wanted to just work in the arts. Like I knew that I wanted to do something that was related to performance, entertainment, something like that, producing. And I was teaching like after school classes to kids, like theater classes and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I could probably like bartend at night, or I could like maybe try and get in and like work at a club and book shows. Cause I had also been working, like I do most of the booking for red light cameras. And so, which I've been doing since the start, and I got really into the like putting lineups together and reaching out to bands and coming up with like a theme for the show or like a reason to do the show, and like so I got used to doing all of that, and we were pretty successful. I mean, a lot, I think, because like the band is really good and Amanda's really talented as a front person and all of that, but I think also we were really good at like putting on good shows and playing with like-minded bands and creating like a special event and environment and all that stuff. So I approached Joe Anderson at Launchpad and was like, hey, I like making shows. I like putting lineups together. I like, I'm really tapped into the local music scene, and I know a bunch of the bands, and I think I could like maybe help out here at Launchpad. And he was like, okay, well, let's try it out. And basically hired me to do happy hour over there at Launchpad. And so I started by just like working happy hour and then booking shows whenever I could. I would like, I got like access to the calendar at Launchpad and was able to see what dates were open. And then I could be like, oh, well, I want to do a show with these bands and this band and this band. And I think that like at first when I started doing it, it was very hard to like differentiate, because I feel like I'd reach out to people and they'd be like, oh, and your band is playing it too, right? And I'm like, no, not my band. Your bands are playing this show. Yeah. And this is your guys' show. I want you to like have a successful show. And like making that jump was like a first step into it.
Wait, so people, and then obviously knew you were booking for Launchpad. People were potentially turning down that opportunity because they thought that it was a Nepo thing.
No, not that at all. It's just they just were like, I'd hit them up and they would be confused thinking that I was...
Oh, on behalf of red light cameras, but in reality you were on behalf of
Launchpad. Yeah. Okay, and they'd be like, oh, I thought we were going to play the show with you guys. And like, are you guys playing the show too? And I had to like figure out how to be like, no, well, now I book for Launchpad and now I put shows together for here. And like, I don't know. It was like a weird transition getting into that, because it felt like I had to like differentiate the two, and like, and you also have to like, check yourself, because like a lot of times I would be like, oh, well, this date's open at Launchpad. I need a really good band to play. And like the initial impulse is to be like, oh, I just asked my band to play this show, and we've got a good show. We'll play all the shows, right? And like obviously I don't want to do that. That's stupid, you know, like.
Well, it brings your credibility down because, I mean, look, I don't think anybody who has seen you guys live can deny how talented you are. But just to have back to back to back to back, it's like, oh, okay, he happens to be good at his job as a booker, but he's taking advantage of the situation. Like, of course, you don't want to bring that upon yourself.
Yeah.
Which I don't feel like you do in the slightest, but I would imagine there's been at least once where someone's like, oh, well, red light cameras only gets booked at Launchpad because has that ever come up?
I don't know. I try to ignore the noise when I can because it's noise and people like talking shit.
No, maybe not even red light, like the friends of red light cameras.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There we go.
That's what I was like, they're friends with.
Yeah.
They just book their friends' bands. I see that all the time, right? I see that. I'll go on Reddit and they'll be like,
Reddit.
Yeah, I've started to dabble on Reddit a little bit. I try not to.
Is the Albuquerque subreddit popping off or what?
No, sometimes it pops off and sometimes it doesn't. But like, yeah, people complain and they'll be like, "Oh, they just book the same bands there all the time," blah blah blah, and I'm like, "Yeah, well, sometimes we do, but those bands bring people, and your bands don't."
Well, obviously they're not a local band, but I don't know if you had a hand in booking these guys, but you guys booked fucking Angel Maker a few months ago. And that was bananas to me. The fact that, because they're like a bigger-ish metalcore, deathcore band that have played, like, this is not a knock to Launchpad, but they've played way bigger venues. And I'm like, so when I saw that listing, like the Angel Makers coming to fight, and you got fucking, I was so mad that I missed it. And I'm so mad that I didn't buy my tickets early because it sold out. Living Color was at Launchpad.
Yeah.
I was so sad that I missed that show. I'm sure it was fucking phenomenal.
I heard, yeah. I wasn't there that night. I had to miss it too. I miss a lot of. I've got all kinds of family stuff going on I'm dealing with, but like, yeah,
right,
there's so many
saying,
shows.
I just bring those guys up because Launchpad regularly, like, as far as I'm concerned, Launchpad is the type of venue, and this is also extended to fucking El Rey and Sunshine, where I know that like with at least a 90% batting average. If I were to just walk up to Launchpad, because Launchpad's a lot more accessible for this than El Rey or Sunshine is, but if I was to walk up to Launchpad and I get told, hey, it's a $15 cover, hey, it's a $20 cover, I can assume with some pretty good will there that it's going to be a great band. Whether it's metal, whether it's rap, whatever's going on in there, it's probably going to be a great fucking show. So yeah, bring that to the local level. So your friends do get booked, but they're also very fucking talented, and they also bring people.
Yeah,
and the liquor sales go up, and it's a good time.
Yeah, it's a business. Yeah. You know, that's the thing. Is that it's hard to, you know, friendships aside and all that stuff aside. Like it's a business. I watched a bunch of Bar Rescue during the pandemic too, because I missed the bar. I like the bar. I missed it, so I was like, John Tafford, let's chew these guys out. Let's fucking do it, man. But it's, you know, I was reading one of his books too. I like John Tafford. Anyways, it's a business. You know, it's like I would love to be able to like have a stage where everybody can play and I can book like any band that hit me up and all of that. And I try, you know, I like people hit me up all the time and they're like, we're a new band from TRC and we want to play a show. Do you have anything open? And I'll listen and I'll try and be like, hit these bands up or check out these bands. Or I try to connect people with other bands, you know, because I feel like the better shows are the shows where the bands have like a connection to each other and are kind of like homies and friends, even like across genres, you know, if there's a scene there that gets along with each other, you can have a multi-genre show and it's totally going to be fine. But like with the Launchpad shows, I feel like it's about community a lot, right? It's like the thing I love about Launchpad and the shows that we have there is it's so diverse. You know, we'll have like a metalcore show on Monday, and then we'll have a hip hop show on Tuesday, and then we're going to have a rockabilly show on Thursday and an indie rock show on Friday, right? And it's kind of by design, and it is definitely intentional. It's something that goes into like the booking process. Like when I'm at work, so me and Joe Anderson and Roman Barham like do a big majority of the booking over there, and then we work with outside promoters as well on it, and we like keep an eye on like, oh, well, we already have a metal show on Wednesday. Do we want to like tax the metal scene, or we know that like, oh, Sunshine has a big metal show on the same day. We don't want to book a metal show on the same day because we're going to split the scene.
The audience,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. And, it's like, it's not about like being like mean or whatever to bands or anything like that. It's just really about like trying to get everybody that's performing to have the best show that they can.
Well, and so first of all, the way your brain works and the way that you guys as a you and the three other guys as a collective are like wargaming all of this out, it's very smart, first of all. And second of all, like, let's bring up a very easy example. Let's say there is a smaller metalcore band that wanted to play on a Wednesday night, and you're like, hey, like, can't get you booked, whatever. And you have, as the position you're in, you have everybody say, yeah, I can't do it tonight. Sorry, man. Right? Even how long in advance it is. If I was that band, of course, you can get upset. That's also well within your right. But I'd be like, okay, well, what are the professional reasons for that? One of my first instincts were to be, okay, what other shows are going on that night? And if I look at Sunshine and someone like fucking Slaughter to Prevail was in, sorry. Most of the web metal community is not going to go to the local show.
Yeah.
And I went to that fucking Slaughter to Prevail show, by the way. And that's not a real example. I'm not alluding to another local band. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And I just bring up Slaughter to Prevail because that was a sold out, packed fucking show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am so glad that, and me and my chick had gotten the fucking, like, the VIP on the second floor. So we got, like, I have a place to sit and shit because that place was shoulder to shoulder, nuts to butts.
Yeah, dude.
Fucking no breathing room. Amazing show. But yeah, that just makes the most sense. Like, why would we want to split our audiences, first of all? And second of all, isn't like the same, I don't know if it's one person or like a team of people that own those venues. Isn't it like the same people that manage Sunshine, El Rey, Launchpad, Inside Out?
Yeah. So Joe Anderson is my boss. Shout out Joe. What's up, Joe? So Joe Anderson manages Launchpad and he manages Sunshine, and then he's a partial owner or partial manager of El Rey.
Okay. Is Inside Out in there?
Yeah. Inside Out is under El Rey's
okay.
building scope. It's all the same.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense because I was getting told one of the past episodes that I just did with Jake Otero, the one that came out today, actually. He was telling me about an open mic that used to happen down at Founders and how they would also do it at Inside Out, and that makes more sense. Okay. But yeah, so if I'm owning all these venues and if I'm managing these venues, yeah, why would I book two shows of the same genre on the same night? And
I mean, sometimes you have to, right?
I understand that if you could avoid it, you will. In the same moment, it's like, exactly, if we're having a big ticket show that's like, because I mean, entry tickets were like $25, $28, and then VIP were like 80, close to 90 after fees for that Slaughter Prevail show. So you have that. And then a day or even 2 days later, you've got like a medium-sized show where it's like $20 to $50 to get in, and people are buying drinks and people are buying merch and all that stuff. I was like, well, are they going to turn around again and spend all that type of money again? So yeah, there's a lot of wargaming that has to go on with that, and it's awesome that so many different shows, not just heavy metal and like death metal and shit, but like so many different types of shows are coming to Albuquerque finally, especially now with Revel happening. That like. I feel like more opening slots, more entry slots are going to happen for local music, like potentially though. And that is a question that I have for you from because you do have that unique outlook on it. Let's start broad. How, not in a negative sense, but just how difficult can it get working with different booking companies, different like management companies, that these guys that not own the bands, but like do their bookings, right? Do their tourings for them, right? When you're managing all these different, and it's a team of you guys. So when all you guys are managing these different types of bands, managing genres and dates and all this stuff, like how difficult can it get before you even start to have local bands be a part of the conversation? Just getting all these guys scheduled out. Like, yeah, obviously the same team is, like you're booking for Launchpad, but like the same management. Joe, he is over all these other ones. Are you guys like communicating regularly with Revel and Isleta? Are you guys all trying to work together? Like, what is all of that like? What are those discussions like?
Well, okay. So as far as like working with other venues, I think there's there's communication between all of us, and I think that also we work with a lot on the level of like the theater shows, right? Sunshine Theater, El Rey, Revel, those big shows. There are producers in town, production companies in town who do those big shows. And those companies are like Lensic 360 is one. Like, so
I've heard the name.
Yeah, so they're like behind, like Brittany Howard is coming in April, right? And Lensic 360, they book that. They book that festival that happens in Albuquerque in like August or something like that. They book a whole bunch of stuff. There's Amp Concerts. There's Two Zany Productions, which does a bunch of the hip hop stuff in town. Viva ABQ. So there's all these like different entities that are like production entities.
And they're separate from the venues.
And they're separate from the venues, right? And so we work with all of these like different entities who basically those entities are the ones who are working with the booking agent for the band or the management for the band and being like, oh, well, we'll offer you a guarantee of $3,000 and this much hospitality if you come and play a show. And they deal with all of that. And then they will go into the venues and they basically are renting the venues. For the stuff that's at theater level, they're basically renting the venues.
Is Launchpad considered a theater venue?
No, not exactly, but we will do. No. Size-wise, Launchpad's not a theater venue. It's a rock club.
Rock club, okay.
Yeah. So the theater level venues are like usually working with outside promoters who have like a whole team that's focused on promoting a show and getting these tickets sold and filling the place.
Okay, so maybe that answers the question I was going to ask. So is that one of the main, like, essential reasons why these production companies are in existence? Because it would, again, novice, next to, no, actually zero. All the information you have given and are about to give me is all the information I have when it comes to booking bands and like helping with tours and shit like that. But I feel like it would... it would make more sense, just again, the way my brain works, to be booking directly with the venues rather than with a middleman to the venue. But that middleman handles all the advertisement and the promotion.
It's really about who wants to take the risk, right? Because when you're making a guarantee on like on something, say you want Chicano Batman. Chicano Batman's coming, and I think that my team and me, we can sell 1,000 tickets. So I'm going to tell Chicano Batman that we can offer them a guarantee of whatever the ticket price is times 1,000 tickets versus a percentage of sales. And we can give them this hospitality and we can give them this kind of like extra things, like a hotel room or whatever, and you're making your pitch to the booking agent. But you're not the only one, right? There's often like multiple production entities who are all pitching for Chicano Batman, for example. Everybody is going like, well, we'll pay Chicano Batman $4,000 and we'll pay them $5,000, right? And so the booking agents are looking at the offers that they get from all of these different producers, promoters in town, and then they're picking which one they want to do. And sometimes it's the highest bidder, right? But sometimes it's like somebody who you've worked with often, who can like promote your show really well. Or sometimes it's like, oh, the band likes this venue more than they like this venue because their green room is nicer, right? And so there's all kinds of like different variables that go into like working those deals out. But I think that a lot of times it's it's a producer's game.
And do you think that, and I do have a reason for asking this, do you think that for these acts that are coming through, they would rather take a smaller venue they know they can sell out as opposed to a bigger venue where they might get paid a little more?
It depends on the agent. It's like it's really like sometimes we run into bands who are like, no, we want to have a sold out tour. Like that's a thing that like this band is really has a lot of hype behind him right now, and we want to be able to like finish this tour and say that we sold out every venue, so that we could sell that when we try to promote their next tour, basically.
Right. Okay. So the reason I asked that is because, so when Slipknot comes through, they always go to Isleta. Makes sense. One of the biggest metalcore bands probably that will ever exist, regardless of what happens on their inner workings and how many band members get that leave of their own volition. No matter what happens on the inner workings of that band, Slipknot, the brand, will always be one of the biggest metalcore bands to ever exist. And I would say, out of all of Slipknot's either casual to hardcore fans, 80% of them know that Corey Taylor is the lead singer of Slipknot. That's just a thing that people know. I thought it was interesting to me that when Slipknot comes in, they go to Isleta, but when Corey Taylor came to town, just as Corey Taylor, Revel. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that kind of made what you're just explaining to me now. I wonder if it just made more sense to go to Revel, get the guarantee, get the percentage of the ticket sales, and know that, and he didn't end up selling out, but I know that he could come closer to selling out that than maybe a Sleta.
Yeah.
Or maybe
it's also your expenses too. How many people does it take to run Revel versus how many people does it take to run Isleta?
True.
Right? The expenses of running a show at Isleta are going to be way higher than they are Revel, and Revel's going to be higher than Sunshine or bigger than El Rey, and El Rey's bigger than Sunshine, and so forth. Right. How many security guys do you need to hire? How many stagehands do you need to hire? What's the all those costs get factored into it too, where you're yeah, we could sell 15,000 tickets at Isleta, but realistically, are we going to sell maybe 3,000? Because if we are only going to sell 3,000, we should probably just do this over here. So it's just a numbers game, and it's okay. Sometimes it's an ego game, right? Sometimes it's ego, we want to sell out our entire tour, and sometimes it's number, and sometimes it's just availability too. Living Color probably should have been in a bigger venue, right?
That's why I was so shocked, and why also I was so sad I missed things. I would love to see him at an intimate venue like Launchpad.
Yeah. Well, I love that too. Those are my favorite shows. I love Launchpad shows more than either the theater shows or the Revel shows. It's just very I like being in a small club with a band where you really feel like you're sharing the same air, oh, let's share some air tonight, brother. It's really nice. But there's something going on at Sunshine that night. There was a packed show at Sunshine that night. And so we couldn't put Living Color over there. So we were and it was kind of a last minute booking thing. So we were okay, let's do Launchpad. Let's see how it goes. And it was better, right? I feel more people came, I think, for the Launchpad show because they knew it would be an intimate show than would have probably come had we put it over at the Sunshine Theater.
Interesting. Yeah, there was obviously there's a bit of novelty for that, seeing that on the flyer, but that's a good point. Okay, so now let's bring in the local bands into it and again, I look at this, again, novice perspective, but I look at this through the lens of stand-up. And this is what might be one of the biggest differences when it comes the behind the scenes administration side of things. So right now we have Dry Heat, and then now of course we have Quesadas up in
Buffalo Thunder.
No, Santa Ana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Santa Ana.
Oh, okay. That's closer than I thought.
Yeah, and then now in theory we're getting Hyenas in the summer.
Oh, Hyenas! What's that? Where's that?
It's going to be up in Uptown.
Okay.
Yeah. So with these newer clubs opening, acts are coming in. They had the whole big tryout night for all the veteran comics in town at Quesadas to pick out who's going to be who could be a feature, who could be an opener, who could be a host, that type of stuff, right? So when all that's coming in, it's okay, as a comedian, you're looking at that and you're okay, with these more clubs happening, more opportunities are going to come. I could have an opening set, any Letterman's coming into town. And one of my friends, A. Marie, who has booked me on my opening shows, she is featuring for any Letterman. So I was at Quesadas, I was okay, awesome. She now has that opportunity. And then a lot of other people have gone and opened for Shane Torres and Chris Kattan and shit like that, right? Okay, awesome. So that mindset, transplanting it to the music industry, is that a reasonable or otherwise feasible thing to where it's okay, let's say you've got somebody, I'm trying to think of a popular to mid, I don't know, Mayday Parade, or what's another one? I guess some part was not touring anymore, and they're pretty big. Sleeping with Sirens, or like Bless the Fall. They were just at Sunshine last year. So let's say they're coming through, and you've got like a bigger local band. Do they? Does that lend itself to an opportunity for a local band, or is it a lot more dicey because you're dealing with all these other like production companies and booking agents and stuff like that? Like, where does it come from an awesome concept to like, okay, pin to pad, this might not work out as easy as you think it does?
Yeah, it's the latter. It doesn't. It like, it's most of the shows that are cool. That are really like the shows that all the bands are excited about and want to be on and want to open for. Those shows usually go, no locals. No, like it sucks.
Shit.
It fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. But most of the time, those booking agents will just tell us straight off from the beginning, no locals. And it's because like there's, the behind the curtains aspect of it, right? So there's a booking agency, and the booking agency has a roster of bands signed up for their booking agency, and they're making money off of these bands. For when they book them these tours, they get a certain percentage from every single show that the band plays on tour. So the better that the bands do on tour, the more money the booking agents do. So when they have a big show like Sleeping with Sirens, or like Sleater Kinney, or like, you know, a big theater show kind of thing, they want to put one of their other agency bands as the opening band, so that they can build up the rest of their roster, right? And so,
which again makes sense. It's a business.
It's a business,
that makes
right?
Perfect sense.
So for them, it makes more sense to put like touring support on with the show, and so they'll have 2 or 3 smaller bands that are also part of their roster doing the support for the whole run of dates.
Makes perfect sense.
So that next time when they have to book that smaller band and they go to book a tour for that band, they can go, well, last time they came through, they played at the Sunshine Theater. So clearly you have to book them at the Launchpad now. Even though they might be like a Moonlight level band, they've been built up now because they have like the credentials from doing a whole tour, doing these theater shows, right? And that's like, unfortunately, the game. And like,
I mean, so here's where I see the alternative, and I don't see it as a better alternative. It just is the alternative, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Let's say you have a rogue booking agency, and they're like, you know what? In these next 5 Southwest cities, let your locals have at it. I'm going to leave it up, again, rogue fucking agency.
But there are those.
I'm going to let you guys, whoever, let's say it's Launchpad, right? I'm going to let you guys book whoever you'd like. Okay, great. So then, you guys go, and let's say you book a local band, and they just fucking bomb. Would that affect the booking agency at all? Does that affect the band on the tour at all? Are they afraid of like a local band bombing? Like what?
You know, at the end of the day, the only thing that they're seeing
The tickets.
is the ticket sales.
Okay.
I mean, like at the end of the day, when we send like final reports, like we'll throw in comments and be like, the show was great. Audience had a wonderful time. Thanks for sending us this show and letting us book the show at Launchpad, blah, blah, blah. Right? But really the only thing they're looking at is how many people paid in advance, how many people paid walk up, what's the total payout. Like that's what they're looking at, right? Which it just breaks it down into such a like heartless, you know, like
But you have to. Because money doesn't have emotions.
Yeah, exactly. John Taffer would say it doesn't matter. You know, like so that's the way the booking agents are looking at it, right? And so like that's why a lot of times the shows that we can add locals on are shows that are like bands that are like past their prime. Still great bands, wonderful bands, but they're not on the up and up. They're just like kind of continuing a tour, and we can be like, hey, do you guys want to open for Alien Ant Farm?
Holy shit.
That's too real. I have to find that.
Which, funny enough, is a band where their most famous song is a cover. Just saying. And then, because one that comes to mind where a local band got added on was Inhuman Hands opening for Fear Factory over at Sunshine. Mm-hmm. I thought that was pretty cool. That they were just able to get that gig.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
And they did a great job. I was there for that. I think they did a great job.
It's great, but also like it falls into that category. Fear Factory is on the they're on the downward trajectory.
Yeah.
Like any band that's like cool and hip and new that most local bands would be like, I want to be on the opening spot for that show. Their agents just shut it down. For the most part. Every now like sometimes what'll happen behind the scenes is that like, you know, the agents check in and go every week and go like, what are ticket sales at? And we go, ticket sales are this. And they go, I wish they'd be higher. And we'd be like, we wish they would too. Maybe if we added a local band, they could be. And they'll go, we'll think about it.
I was going to say, so that was my next question. So at what point, let's say there was like a window of opportunity, like the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes for a local band to show up, right? What do those conversations look like where it's like, yeah, ticket sales aren't the greatest right now, but we do know that these local guys, they could at least pull 25, 50 people.
Mm-hmm. That's basically what the conversations look like. It's just a straight up like as it gets closer, but it's a catch-22, right? Because like it like. And we try to explain this to these agents, right? And we try and tell them, like, hey, man, like, let us book the good local bands now because we can get good local bands. But if you wait until the week before the show and go, oh, my God, ticket sales aren't good on this, get us a good local band to open. I'm like, oh, cool. Let me get 6 dudes to clear their schedule next week. Yeah. You know, like, that's not going to happen. And so then you're stuck with what you can get. Right, and then
if you even want to at that point, but then it's also like, well, we need ticket sales, and then it's all a big gamble. It sounds like.
Oh yeah, dude, booking is gambling. It's fucking crazy because that's all you're doing. All you're doing is like I go to work and it's like horse racing, is what it is. So I go to work and I get emails from these different agents, and these agents are like, hey, here's such and such band. They're doing really good in these cities, and this is their listens on Spotify, and here's their Instagram. You should book them. And then I have to like check it out and go, okay, I like this band. I want to book this band. And yeah, okay, we've got the date. Let's do it. And then they come back and go, well, how much are you willing to offer? What do you think they're worth? And then I have to go, I don't know. What are your other offers coming in at?
Right. What's the going rate for you
What's the going rate for you guys? And they're like, well, we're doing tickets at $20. That's not what I fucking asked. Goddamn. Okay. How much are they making in Oklahoma City? Because that's like, it's comparable city size to Albuquerque, right? How much are they making in Tucson?
Right.
You know? And so it's all this like back and forth where you're trying to like, I'm doing math being like, well, I think if I can have locals on this show, I can sell 80 tickets. How much does that equal? I can offer this, right? Because if I, like, when you offer a guarantee, you're signing a contract and saying, like, you guys get $1,000. If it fucking snows in Albuquerque and everybody stays home, I'm still writing a check for $1,000.
Right. And the venue just has to take a loss on that.
Yeah, the venue just takes a loss on that, right? Which is not good.
No,
for the venue. You know, we're a business. Right, yeah. We're a business. We got to stay open. We got to got to pay people and all that shit. So, yeah, it's a lot like horse racing, and you are just kind of like, but. You know, just like horse racing, you can research the horses and be like, okay, hold on, okay.
You had a broken leg back in
these guys came through last year and they played at this house venue. Then I heard the show did really well. I think they might have a good crowd here. Let's do it, right?
Like and just see what happens, right? And I think, and it's good to hear you articulate it like that and explain it because, now granted, none of the local bands that I've had on here are big complainers when it comes to that, at least. They don't complain about not getting local spots or not this or not that. They're just happy to be where they're at and they want to work harder. That's awesome. But I don't think it's a stretch of the imagination to say that there are a lot of people or a lot of entertainers out there, musicians or would-be musicians out there like, oh, well, they never book me or they won't let me get on this local opening or they won't let a local band get on the opening slot ever. Fuck this. And no, it's like it's good to hear it like played out like that because at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of people get so, and they don't, I feel like they don't do it intentionally, because to do it intentionally would be very stupid. But I feel like a lot of people get so embellished and they get so just like elbow deep in what they love doing that they forget that there is a huge business and money making side to what they're doing. That, you know, they're and when it comes to that, they are not the only ones that are making money. There are people that house you to play your stuff. There are people that have to, like you said, have to book you, have to help you tour around, promote you. There are so many cogs in this entertainment machine. And at the end of the day, no matter how much, whether you are the front man of a band or a front woman of a band, or you are one of the best booking agencies in the world, or you run one of the biggest venues in the world, or whatever you do, everyone is in there to, obviously, if they love their job, that's great, but they're there to make money. And they want to keep doing what they're doing. They want to keep making their profits, and then if you're really up there, making your bonuses and making your high dividends. And so everyone has to play the part in doing that. And that's because you don't want to put a gamble in a rusty gear and it's not oiled up in time.
Yeah.
The whole machine falls apart.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
And there's other people's lives are at stake, you know? Like I also have to, like, keep in mind that, like, oh, I've got bartenders who this is their job. This is how they pay their bills. This is how they, like,
splash.
Fucking
Pay the bills.
Pay the bills.
That's how they do their shit.
And so if I book a show,
are very nice, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Mike Bethke especially. Shout out Mike Bethke. But no, I mean, like, they've got bills to pay, and like, if we, you know, I would love to book, like, I'd like to take a risk on bands and do that kind of stuff. But if the bar doesn't make a certain amount of money, then those bartenders are going home and they're not able to fucking pay their bills and eat, you know? Like, we've got to...
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing. You've got a responsibility to more people than just the bands and just art's sake.
So there's two more questions I've got before we head out of here about Launchpad. And one of them is a very selfish question. I'll start with that one. Launchpad, primarily, I'd say 100% honestly, is a music venue. Is there any world where stand-up happens at Launchpad outside of One-Liner Madness? Is there any world where stand-up? Because I think that if Launchpad, like, I get that it would be challenging to have the Launchpad floor set up like a club with, like, tables and shit. That's challenging, for obvious reasons. But that would be such a cool fucking venue to see stand-up in, because it's so intimate. It's dark. It's enclosed. You have a fucking balcony seating. You have seating where motherfuckers can be on the side of the stage on the top. Whether or not they should be, who knows, but they're there. Like, it's such a cool venue that I would love to see stand-up there. Is there any world where that could happen?
Yeah. If it took off, if it's doing well, I mean, we've been talking with Dry Heat on and off about, like, co-promoting shows and doing stuff, and like I think they're doing Nick Hofstetter over at Sunshine Theater, or maybe it already happened. I'm not sure. Yeah,
he's going over there in March, and then they had fucking, who was it? Renee Vaca, I think he already came through Sunshine.
Yeah.
And then Ralph Barbosa is coming at the end of next month too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, it's a possibility. I've booked Mick Foley over there at Launchpad before. Yeah.
Mick Foley?
Yeah.
Like the pro wrestler?
Yeah, Mankind. Yeah.
He does stand-up?
No, he doesn't do stand-up. He just talks about being Mankind and being Mick Foley. Yeah, it's fucking great. But it was, like, same form. I had to, like, go rent chairs from Garcia's, and, like, I had Garcia's drop off a bunch of chairs and set up, like, 80 chairs there. We do burlesque shows at Launchpad all the time.
Okay.
Where they bring in chairs and they set it up. Like, it's a possibility if the show makes sense, right? Like, if Dry Heat came to us and was like, Launchpad, we want to produce this show. We want to bring this person out. Can we use your venue? Are you open this night? We would absolutely be like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I just think that's such a badass venue. That's a high-produced, good quality stand-up show needs to happen there.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of the agents that we work with also book stand-up. Like, we get this, like, the same agents who are, because they're performance agents, you know. Right. So I'll see.
And they want to diversify their portfolios, I'd imagine. So it's like, why not? Okay, and then the last question that I have for you about Launchpad is, so what I love about the place, and I feel like what a lot of other people love about Launchpad too, is that it's a first of all, well-known local venue, right? Iconic venue based not only just based on like the iconography and the imagery of it, but just everyone knows to go in there and they love it, and it's a safe environment, it's a welcoming environment. No matter how violent it can get in there based on what shows in there, but it's a very welcoming environment. It's a lot of fun to be in there. From the mindset of a booker, how important is it to you to maintain a good image to great image of Launchpad, and then how do you maintain that? Like, what's your hand in that giant pot?
I don't know. It's super important. Like, really, your image is all you've got. Like, okay, let's jump into this bag of worms, right? Echoes, right? So this past week, if you don't know, this local venue, Echoes Brewery, apparently told some cover band that they couldn't play there. To quote Echoes, they said, "Fuck no," which I think is brilliant.
I've got the screenshots here. So someone named Rodney Hodder posted the screenshot, and basically the screenshot said, and it only shows like the back half of his message. Mm-hmm. And so from this guy named Rodney, the back half of his message says, let me know if you have any interest and if there are any dates available in May or June. Thanks, have a great day. And all they get back is fuck no. And then they reply, wow, okay, that's a bit unprofessional. Echoes replies, not as unprofessional as sending out a solicitation for cover bands to an original music venue. Do your homework. Basic. Their reply, the musician, no matter what you may do as a venue, that certainly gives you no right to respond in that manner. Have a nice day. So still, trying to be cordial. Final response and final message in the screenshot. You try to book a Christmas party at a synagogue and see what happens. You are insulting. We are just returning the favor.
Okay,
There's a lot of ways to unpack that, but let's stay on the image side of it.
All right. Well, I've been to several Christmas parties at synagogues. I just let you know, it's an event hall. If anyone wants to rent it, they're welcome to come. We book Christian rock at Launchpad sometimes. I mean, like, whatever. A hall's a hall. Get the money, as John Tafford would say. Get the money.
Which is very in line with synagogues. So.
Hey, man. Yeah, it was like it was a big blow up, right? Everybody blew up about the whole thing.
People shared it. A lot of local musicians shared it and passed it around. And I have my own thoughts about it, but I feel like yours are more valuable. So.
I don't know that shit.
Well, all right. I'll give mine, but
yeah, my thoughts on the whole thing is like, oh man, that was such a firestorm for Echoes, but also like, there's no such thing as bad press, right? Now everybody knows what Echoes is. It's the place that does original music. Right? Like, if I were a person in Albuquerque and I was like, man, it's Friday night. I wish I could see original music. Where should I go? You know what I'm going to think? Echoes. I'm going to go to fucking Echoes because I know they've got original music
but everybody
there.
else in Albuquerque is like, hey, it's Friday night and I want to see good music. Where am I going to go to? And let's just be, all jokes aside, let's just be completely honest here. Name me one good to great local band. That's been a theme on this podcast lately, has been supporting local, but supporting good local, right? Mm-hmm. Supporting good local that supports the scene, the respective scene they're in a good light, right? So in the name of supporting good local, name me one good to great local band of any genre that does not do cover. Keep it in rock and alternative.
Yeah.
A good to great local band in rock and alternative that does not do any cover music at all, ever.
I mean, ever. I don't know. I feel like Crime Lab. I don't think I've heard Crime Lab do any covers.
Well, I haven't heard of them.
Oh, dude, those guys are great. Oh, you gotta check out Crime Lab.
Crime Lab
is like indie rock, like gold. They're top notch Albuquerque band. I don't know if I've heard them do a cover. Here's the thing: it's like it's musicians do covers. It's how you learn. It's how you like. it's the fun thing. It's one of the reasons you pick up an instrument. You're like, wow, I can make sounds on this instrument. I wonder if I can play Iron Man. Bum, 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 bum. And you're like, fuck yes, right. I'm a genius.
Right,
you know,
no, for real.
That's what we're doing. We're just playing songs. I don't know. I think it's silly to be so like purist about it, but it's interesting. It's really interesting because the scene has changed so much, and I don't know if it's a just Albuquerque thing, but back in the day, like when Red Light Cameras started, most bands did not play covers. Like that wasn't a thing that bands did as part of their regular set. If you were like playing the clubs, if you were playing like Launchpad or Bert's Tiki Lounge or Sister, or, you know, whatever the like rock clubs were of the day.
So do you think that this is a mindset that's been carried over from like the...
Oh yeah, absolutely,
guard,
absolutely. Well, and I'm like, the owner of Revel is part of the old guard, right? Echoes.
Yeah.
The owner of Echoes, he's an old school guy. He's part of the old scene. He's part of that old mindset where it's like, we're original bands and we're producing original bands. And like when you look into the history of Albuquerque, it's like there's a pendulum, right? And it swings back and forth. Because back in the like 80s, there was this dude, his name was Joe Buffalino. And Joe Buffalino fucking booked every club in town. Like every fucking club was a Joe Buffalino club. And Joe Buffalino clubs would just book the bands that played top 40 covers. And you had to know the top 40 covers. And if you got on his list, you could play a club in Albuquerque. And this is like pre-DJs being a thing. So people would just go to see live music be like to go dance around. And they wanted to hear the songs that were on the radio. They wanted to hear the top 40 songs being played live in the club. And so that's what Joe Buffalino brought. And that's what his bands brought. But then there was this like underground scene. And this is all like stuff I learned through to reference Chris Walsh, my best friend, has this like documentary he just put out about a month ago called The Decline of Southwestern Civilization Part 1. And they screened it at the Guild, and
I love it.
It's really good. It's on YouTube somewhere. Definitely check it out if you want to know about like Albuquerque music history. But like back then in the like 80s, that's what it was. Everyone just played covers. And then coming out of that in the 90s, Albuquerque swung to the other side where it was like real bands don't play covers. Real bands do a whole set, all original music. And that was like the thing. If you were like cool and if you were legit, you're not a cover band. And so like there's always been this divide between the like music community about like cover bands, tribute bands, and original bands. That I feel like when I started with Red Light Cameras, it was like not a thing to do covers. And nowadays, it's swung completely the opposite way. And I think part of that's a pandemic. I think that during the pandemic, a lot of people just like, myself included, sat at home just being like, well, I guess I can learn this discography right now on bass, you know?
I mean,
like
Billy Joe Armstrong, really Green Day was under his like namesake. They released a whole album of covers.
Yeah. I mean, like it's not like to like. I think it's more of just like pendulums than it is like, oh, this is bad or this is good or whatever like that. I just feel like now we're in an era where a whole bunch of bands, half their set is covers these days. Which I'm like, from the old guard, I'm like, oh, what? What do you mean they played half their set as covers? Why are they playing here at the Launchpad? Like, yeah. But it's stupid because that's like.
Well, again,
things change.
Like context is very important to why things are happening the way they're happening, but then also businesses that don't evolve with where the times are at tend to get left in the dust. Mm-hmm. And a really good is I asked Leroy that from the Slumps. I asked him that point like when we were on the podcast. I was like, why do you guys play so many covers? Because I like their original stuff. And I was like, I would say maybe they are 75%, well, like 70% original, 30% cover. And they can fluctuate for sure. But I asked, like what's the mindset here of playing cover music? So he's like, well, next time you go to one of our shows, look at like the waves of interest when we're playing. Because no matter how good you may think we are, how good we think we are, at the end of the day, those covers are put in to maintain audience attention. He goes like, most of those people don't know our fucking music, but they know all the small things, and they know fucking the like the other Fall Out Boy song they play, I forget what the fuck it is, but like Ocean's Avenue and shit like that, or Holiday by Green Day. They know all of that, so I get that strategy for sure. And especially as they're like a rising band, I understand the need, right? And it's a very good, it's a not an easy tactic, but it's a easily accessible tactic, and it works for them. It fucking works.
Oh, it works for. I saw it firsthand this weekend. Red Light Cameras played at Raffle, and we were like, they're like, can you guys do a 2-hour set or like 2 50-minute sets basically with a break? And we're like, yeah, we could do that. And then let's throw in some covers. And so we played 3 covers in the set. And like while we're playing it, you could see like we'd be playing and then we would be like, this next one's a cover. And we'd play Love Fool by the Cardigans. And then all of a sudden I'd look up and the dance floor is filled up again. And it's like, oh, cool.
Right.
And then they stick around for the next couple songs. And then we play another cover and everyone's like, I know the Miley Cyrus song too.
I was going to say, you guys cover Flowers, right?
Yeah, we did Flowers as well, which is great.
I'm not even the biggest Miley Cyrus fan around, but I like that song, and y'all fucking kill that song.
Yeah, I like that song. That song's really good. That song is really good.
But anyway, I don't know, man. Like, that's how I kind of digested it, was like, get with the times, adapt a little bit if you have to. I get it if you don't like it, but you're running a business. I had one more point about that whole shenanigans, but I don't know, like, because I've been to Echoes a few times. Like, they hold the open mic there for Dry Heat Thursdays and Fridays, and it's a fine venue. And the guy there, I understand that the guy who runs it, the same guy who runs the bar, and he's a nice guy. He's never like been exactly mean to me or anything.
Yeah, no, Jake's nice.
But, I'm sure he's a very nice guy.
Super
but
cool.
you know, it's like, and I even told Sarah this when I had her on the podcast. I was like, that is the most liminal, odd-looking fucking bar I've ever been in. It's disorienting to go inside.
Yeah.
But once you're there for a little bit, you kind of sink into it, and you're like, oh, okay, we're here, we're all right. That's what I was going to bring up about it. I don't know, and a lot of the feedback that I got about the Echoes incident was that it confirmed for a lot of people what they already knew. Because I guess a lot of people have had negative interactions there, which is disappointing to hear. So, you're right. Well, for the most part, it's, any publicity is good publicity. I hope that Echoes gets a proportionate amount of spanking from this online, right? I hope it doesn't go too overboard and people lose their shit altogether.
Yeah.
But, I hope they learn from it. And then it's like, hey, probably shouldn't say fuck no. Probably shouldn't. If people are here trying to play music, which means they're hoping to bring their own crowd more than we might already have, like it was a weekday or a weekend night, if they're considered for a weekend slot or whatever. But if they're trying to bring us business and we want to host new people, maybe we shouldn't respond like that. And then at the same time, what do we have to change? What do we have to improve on to continue our? Because I'll be frank, man, I've only seen that place packed out, or like have a steady whatever, and this is just my own experience, but during an open mic. During fucking Dry Heat open mic on Thursdays and Fridays. Otherwise, when I've driven by Echoes, there's next to fucking nobody there. I've heard they close at like 9:30 or 10 on Fridays and Saturdays, and it's like, dog, like, adapt.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. And it's not to speak negatively, but it's just my assessment looking in, and it's good. It's good to see an insight of that from somebody who works at, again, one of the biggest local venues here, because like every book, like you just outlined perfectly earlier, every booking you guys do, every step y'all make is a gamble. It's a fucking gamble. Like, could you imagine if you guys had like a bigger local band or like a small size touring band approach you, and someone on your social media team was like, fuck no, and that went viral? What would that do to you? Because and maybe you can agree with this too, what I've found is it's very challenging in Albuquerque. I say probably New Mexico in general, but it's very challenging in Albuquerque to build a solid, mostly positive reputation. But once you build it, you can hold on to it pretty easy, but it is almost instant when you lose it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you make one false step, you do one wrong thing where you're culpable for it, and you lose it like that.
What do you mean a lot of burglars using Cisco now? What the fuck, man? How dare you use Cisco? God damn you, Lottaberger. That's all I got to say on that.
But you get what I mean? Like, would you say it's the case?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, man.
And this is not to say that, like, I don't want any venue to ever shut down or anything, but, just take your licking, take your spanking a little bit and move on.
And make your adjustment and hear your criticism that's there because there's legit criticism. I mean, I made a Facebook post after all that shit blew up, and I think I'll just refer to that, which is always practice kindness.
Yeah.
Like, just always. There's no reason to be mean to people. Everyone's a sensitive artist. Everyone you're talking to is a sensitive artist, and they need to be treated with kid gloves, and you don't want to tell them. Like, I don't tell people, I don't straight up tell people, like, no, I'm not going to book you on a Friday night because you guys aren't a Friday night band. Like, I'm not going to tell somebody that. I'm going to be like, well, if we can find some other bands to put together on this that makes sense on a Friday, then we can maybe try and do that. But I'm not going to just, like, outright disparage somebody and make someone feel bad because what's the fucking point? Here's the thing I always come back to. We're in Albuquerque. We're in Albuquerque, New Mexico. This is in New York. This is in LA. This is in Chicago. It's not some big deal fucking thing. And not to, like, belittle people in the art that they're doing, but just to say, like, it's cool, man. Just, like, be an artist. Just make art. Just do art that makes you feel good. Like, we're not trying to, like, change the history of world music here in Albuquerque.
Well, if that mindset can come from somebody in one of, if not the biggest local band, I promise you that every other local entertainer can adopt that mindset as well. And that's not to push down or stomp an ambition or hard work or anything like that, not at all. But it's also to say, like, hey, we are still growing as a scene. This is still Albuquerque. So the bridge from playing at a giant and like transition this conversation back to like Launchpad or Sunshine, the discrepancy between playing regularly at local shows to headlining or featuring at like Launchpad or Sunshine or El Rey is so big right now because of how much this scene is growing. People lose sight of the fact that it is still a business. Mm-hmm. And even if all the local bookers had all the purchasing power in the world to book people, you probably still wouldn't get booked because you're not good enough yet. Well, and it's okay to be not good enough yet. You're still growing just like everybody else is.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And it should be encouraging more. Like, make a better show. Like, put on a good show. Like, I feel like there's a lot of people who are like, man, we're not making it because we're not getting the big breaks to open for such and such band, right? And I'm like, fuck that such and such band. It doesn't matter. Like, I will let you know firsthand, the myth of, like, we're going to open for such and such band and then we're going to make it. Yeah. Then from there, it's going to blow up and we're going to be, like, booked all over the place. Like, that doesn't exist. Like,
you're just as likely to have the random studio executive show up to your show,
exactly,
and see you do amazing, and then write you a check for $100,000.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, I'm gonna play AYSO soccer this weekend, and maybe one of those recruiters are gonna show up for the United team and get me on on the United. Like, that's not gonna fucking happen, dude. Like, let's be realistic. Like, really, what bands should be doing, I think. It's great to open for touring bands. Like, please keep opening for touring bands. I need bands to open for touring bands all the time, but they're usually smaller touring bands. They're usually bands you haven't heard of yet. But, like, I do my research. I check these bands out. I'm not booking a band that I think is, like, terrible. I'm usually booking a band because I'm like, I like this. I see, and I have wide taste. I love technical death metal. I love country music. I love hip hop. I love indie rock. I love rock and roll. I like all these different genres, and I'm going to book things that I think are good and I think are talented and, like, play those shows. But I feel like local bands should really just focus on putting on good local shows.
Well, if you didn't have not like the taste you had, but if you didn't have the professional the professional vision, the professional outlook to properly book shows, you wouldn't have your job right now. Mm-hmm. It's a very cutthroat industry because it's not like you're flying by the seat of your pants, but like I remember I was I think it was an episode of Rogan where they were talking about local restaurants during the pandemic and a lot of statistics that became public about how much money restaurants actually make, of how so many shut down, stuff like that. It's like 75% of local restaurants, or locally owned or family-owned restaurants in the country, they make like a 10% profit every month. Oh,
yeah, dude. It's so small.
It's so tiny.
The margins
so it's
are...
like everything that you're doing, that's been the fucking theme of this episode, I feel like, when it comes to this, is it's all a gamble, and you need to be doing your art because you love it. Mm-hmm. And when you recognize both of those things, you will understand that where your growth needs to be and more or less how to attain that growth. And then you'll also be able to realistically see, A, what an opening slot on a touring band can do for you, and B, why you may not get booked on a local show like that, but then if you do, understand how much value is being put on you and understand how much of a gamble these people are making on you. So you better have the chops for it. Because Lord forbid, whether it's like a solo act or a fucking the regular like 4 to 6, 7 piece band. And if you're the Mango Cakes, you're a 15-piece band. Yeah, but
that's right.
I love those guys, but I'll make fun of them every chance I get for that. But
I think they added a couple of extra.
Did they really?
No, I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. But I love those guys. But understand that regardless of what type of act you are, if you're getting fucking booked on a substantial bill, understand the gamble that's being taken on you and act accordingly. Because Lord forbid, if you are one of those people and you're just a really good salesman of yourself, but then you show up and you tank. Do you think you're going to get booked again by those people?
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to fucking show up at that venue again anytime soon?
Well, and also, be, here's the other thing I'll throw out there. Be respectful to the staff at the venues you're playing at. Like, because I don't know if you know this, but people who work at a venue also work with the booking agents at the venue. Like, I hear when, like, if there's a band that's shitty, like, and the next day, the bartender's there and being like, man, fuck that band. Never book that band again. I hate them. They're a fucking piece of shit. You know, like I hear that stuff. I hear when, like, people are, like, not being just good humans at shows. So, like, be good to the staff. Dude, here's the cheat code. If I'm going to give a cheat code to all bands. Here's a cheat code. At the end of your show, take out $20. Give $10 to the sound guy. Give $10 to the bartender. If you can make it 20 and 20 when you're doing better as a band, do that. Make it part of your like budget for playing a show. You're gonna get paid, and maybe you're only gonna make $80. But if you tip out your sound guy and if you tip out the bar as the band at the end of the night, that word is gonna get back. It's gonna get back to whoever's booking, and they're gonna be like, hey, that band was pretty cool, you know, like, it's just respect, you know, it's respecting the people who worked and who helped make the show possible, because it's like the ship doesn't just sail itself. You know, we've got bartenders, we have barbacks, we have door guys, we have sound guys, you know, there's all these other people that are working to make this show possible. And when you appreciate them, they'll appreciate you.
Well, listen, man, you are a very, very wise gentleman.
Thank you.
You're a hell of a time to hang out with, too. So, again, thank you so much for coming on and doing this. Any major things coming up right now for the red light cameras? Anything major coming out for, like, Launchpad? I know there's always major shit.
There's always stuff for Launchpad, yeah.
But, like, any, like, major shit you want to
the red light cameras have 2 new singles coming out in the month of March. So... if this comes out in the month of March, Go check out our Spotify page. We've got 2 new songs we recorded over at Rio Grande Studios with Ken Riley, which they sound really good. They're top notch. So
I am. Well, I'll say it afterwards. Thank you very much for coming on, man.
Yeah,
this has
of
been
course. Thanks for having
awesome.
me.
Where can people find you and then find the band on social media?
I'm Barney Fashion Show on Instagram. And you can find the band at Red Light Cameras on Instagram and pretty much everywhere.
Fuck yeah. Well, thank you, man. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching, and we will see you next time. Bye, everybody. That was fun.